This conference will now be recorded.
You good? Yeah, that's all. Everyone, please rise for the pledge of invocation. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our dear kind Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight. A lot of blessings and thank yous for our great Veterans Day. We got Thanksgiving come up, Lord. We got a lot of things to be thankful for. For our veterans that sacrificed their time away from their families and loved ones, and those that sacrificed their life to keep us free and give us our independence, that we can go out and vote, and we can gather here as a public in a public meeting. We ask you for your guidance tonight, make the right decisions to make our town better. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, all the council's here tonight. First thing on the agenda is review and approval of meeting minutes. Draft minutes from the meeting recorded are published online, regular meeting for October the 10th. You all had a chance to review.
Yeah, I had a correction in the new business, Boonesborough Municipal Utilities Commission amended water and sewer billing policy.
Okay.
The second sentence presented an updated amended, BMUC amended. I don't know, is that correct? Correct, the two amended, but I wasn't sure. But anyhow, the statement that I made was not that I was upset, not pleased that the questions were shared publicly. I didn't mind my questions were shared publicly. I thought that I deserved the right to rebut what was given back to me as answers. If they're going to be published publicly, then I ought to have gotten to rebut that. I didn't see the link still there when I tried to link on it from last minute, so it seems like they've been taken down.
Are they?
I don't think so.
I don't know, the Google Docs link didn't work, but it might have just been me having issues this weekend, because apparently I have to go home. Email. Email.
Any other corrections? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. Treasurer's report.
Okay. Got it out to you late, apologize. We're waiting on the Wells Fargo statement. Got the holiday to everybody off. It's okay. Under the general fund, we have a ending balance of $2,011,410.60. A couple of notable things in the deposit side of it. We had the police grant monies received, almost 14,000. There were the JFK sponsorships, $4,600. We did receive some amusements taxes, admissions and amusements taxes, a little over 14,000. Hotel motel tax, 3,600. And the other thing to note is the August and September reimbursements from both water and sewer fund are up to date with the general fund. Water fund, we ended up with a balance of $928,436.09. And there really isn't anything that I've looked at through there that was anything unusual trend. Sewer fund has a balance of $121,444.71. And again, just normal transactions through the month there as well. Under our CDs for the town, we have a balance for the general fund of $2,175,171.87. And there are no other CDs being held for the water or the sewer fund at this time. Other accounts under the restricted funds, our ending balance is $2,154,789.32. There was a question about getting some type of description there for those funds, and it is up to date. And there is a little detail for you as far as money's going from where. We've got the $2 million from both the county and the state for the reservoir in there. Town of Lyons has money, highway user tax money, hotel tax money, and excise tax funds are in there. The American Rescue Plan Act funds, Middletown Valley Bank is holding a balance of $3,111,810.92. And the water fund has a money market account with a balance of $174,228.68, and the sewer fund has a money market account with a balance of $84,852.41. Those are all of our funds.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Tony? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
All second.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion?
Well, it would be nice to get them, they could be reviewed prior to the meeting, especially when you email them this late. I don't even have a chance to print them out to look at them, so that's become
Noted.
frustration.
Noted.
And it would also be nice to have financials included in our packet.
Okay.
Um,
I'll do better with that for you. I got them all late today. I know the holiday screw thing.
Right, well, I never got September, so the latest I have is August, which apparently you did do October's later today, but again, when you get them, you know, during the workday of the meeting, you don't have time to ask questions for the meeting.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
I'm abstaining
One
since I can
abstention.
review it.
We have one abstention. Thank you. Kim, have you heard anything on the audit from Jason?
I have not.
Can I make that motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion while we're still dealing with the treasurers, to rescind the Wells Fargo transactions. We can't get that wording satisfactory. And we've actually gotten a comparable deal, actually a little bit better of a deal for Middletown Valley Bank. So we won't need it.
Okay. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
We have
So what wording are we talking?
Remember when we changed
we
the
have a
wording?
motion and a second. Okay, open for discussion.
That was the investment policy to change the wording.
Right.
But then I know we talked about doing some investments with Wells Fargo.
There's still an issue with some of the wording. No, what happened?
No, there's no issues with wording with Wells Fargo.
Okay.
We just
thought not to use it.
A better deal with
Got a better
Middletown.
deal with Middletown Valley.
The wording was Tyler's. Yeah, the wording was unique to Tyler
Yeah.
because Edward Jones does not have a brick and mortar bank in Maryland.
We just got a better deal from Hagerstown, or from
For
Middletown.
Middletown.
So we're not changing the investment
No.
policy.
We're gonna be
We're
leaving
just
Middletown.
changing, moving investments to Wells Fargo.
Yeah, we're not moving it there now. We're gonna keep it in Middletown. They gave us a better percentage.
They use the same percentage as Wells Fargo, but they also applied it to all
All
our checking
accounts.
accounts.
So we're rescinding the motion to change the
We're
investment
rescinding the
policy?
motion
No.
To invest with Wells Fargo.
See, I was confused.
Not
with
to
that. You can-
invest with Wells
Right,
Fargo.
to not invest with
Yeah,
Wells Fargo.
and invest with Middletown Valley. That's the motion.
The one we approved last time, Kim, we're sending that.
We
He went
approved
here.
to invest in some CDs with Wells Fargo with our.
So just, I mean, I guess it's important to discuss what happened. So we were getting ready to move the money. Middletown Valley, I guess, panicked a little bit and at the last minute offered to match the interest rates offered by Wells Fargo. And, you know, we wouldn't have to move the money and incur any kind of transfer expense. They would sit in the same insured accounts that they're in right now. They, you know, all they did was go into each one of those accounts and increase the earned interest. So, and we didn't know they were going to do this, but they ended up applying that high interest rate to all of our ICS accounts, which includes our water, sewer, and general fund checking accounts. So at the end of this 10-year period, we're going to have earned probably about $250,000 in interest. So, usually this would have been something that, would have to go back to the mayor and council, but we had to, I guess we were a little bit pressed for time and.
You get back to the mayor council tonight.
Okay.
Once we say the,
Plus, we didn't change anything. I think that's where they were, not increasing the rate.
plus we saved the money that it would cost us to do the transfer from there to Wells Fargo too. So we saved.
A win-win.
Yeah, it was a win.
Simpler accounts too.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yeah, that's also true. Sorry. These accounts are completely liquid. They're not treasury bills.
Right.
So.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. Citizens comment. Looks like we have one person signed up. Colin?
Yes, sir.
Yours, sir.
Thank you. Colin Schanberger, 15 Young Avenue. If I may, I have some information I'd like to hand out to you. So before I get going, I will say that I'm not speaking on behalf of BMUC. I'm here as a happy citizen of the town. I do not come with complaints or gripes. I come with a request.
You are welcome.
As we all know, in March 2020, the world was plagued with COVID-19, and there were a lot of headaches that came for many people and the federal government to try to help with some of the financial hardships to release the American Rescue Plan Act. And one of the ways that the money can be used in the American Rescue Plan Act is premium pay. So if you look at the first two pages, this is taken from like the cliff notes of the Treasury Department for the American Rescue Plan Act. The funds can be used, as I've highlighted there, for state, local, or tribal government workforces. So essentially, they said people that were working for government, they could be given premium pay, whether it was done hourly, a lump sum. They compensated for their service during this time. I know the state of Maryland, we are no longer in a state of emergency with the pandemic, but technically worldwide, nobody has ever declared it over. They said, well, we might be moving to endemic, but anyway. The second page of this highlights what the criteria are to be able to give these bonuses to the employees. So I kind of highlighted the first one, and that kind of references where I'm going with this. So the eligible employees can't make more than 150% of the residing state or county's average annual wage, which if we flip to the next page, highlighted, this is May 2021. This is for the state of Maryland. All occupations, the annual mean wage is $65,900. I don't think anybody working for the town of Boonesboro makes 150% more. So as far as that's concerned, all of our employees would fall under the umbrella of this. So I know that there was the task force created to kind of help round up all the ideas and the possible ways to spend the money. And a lot of them seem to go for the infrastructure, and we'll turn to the next page because there's a couple big projects. So the two big projects the town's facing are the reservoir project and then the dewatering facility out at the wastewater plant. And there's just some numbers there. The first highlighted one, 2,988,000 are what are remaining that haven't been allocated or spent. If you go down the 3.5 million, that's what's remaining currently for the proposed amount that the reservoir is going to cost. We're looking at a total of approximate $7 million for the reservoir. So far, the town has been able to secure quite an amount of funding for it. And last conversation I had with Paul, the House and Senate approved a bill for an additional $7.5 million for funding for the reservoir. sitting on the president's desk, they're just kind of arguing over semantics of the verbiage of whether or not, if I remember correctly from our conversation. So if that's approved, then we won't need any of the American Rescue Plan funds to cover the cost of the reservoir. And that's, you can see the number there. We would actually have a surplus from all the grants. Now, there's some ignorance on my part. I don't know if that surplus can be used for other projects or if it just gets, you don't end up using it. So essentially, if we secure that the way it's going, we would need 1.4 million out of the remaining 2.9. So essentially, the last page, with Kim's help, I was able to get a list of current employees, how long they've been here. There was no personal information shared beyond that. And down at the bottom, there are two numbers. So essentially, I'm suggesting that the town takes advantage of this unique opportunity and compensates the employees. I think everybody here on the mayor and council would agree that we appreciate what the town employees do. And I think the majority would agree that the wages are not where they could be, but the town's hands are tied, and I understand that. We have a limited budget. This is a really unique opportunity for us to be able to say, look, we tell you guys we appreciate the work. This is what we can put out for you. So there were kind of two different ideas that I had. You could either do time of service from the time the pandemic started, and that's the first column, gives you the total. Or you could just say $1,000 a year, and that's the second amount. From my research, there is no time constraints of like when the person started or anything of that nature. It pretty much just boils down to if they make too much money, which again, I don't think anybody working for the town, given the numbers from the state of Maryland, I don't think that's going to be an issue. We are very fortunate in this town to have the workforce we do. It's a common issue within municipalities, and Boonsboro's experienced it, turnover rates. We actually have quite a few people that have been here for a very long time, and they bring a lot to the town. I know Ray, I'm pretty sure that guy bleeds blue and orange. Like, he's a Boonesboro guy through and through. I mean, Kim back there, I remember as a child her being a substitute teacher. So like, now I see her here as an adult, and I'm like, look, there's that, I still remember her face. So there's.
You met that in a good one.
Yeah. Very much so.
I never had to yell at Colin.
No.
It's not that much.
So I think this is a really neat opportunity. I know that was kind of how we breezed through that, but 3 minutes time, you're kind of limited on what you can say. So I think it's a neat opportunity. I think we should take advantage of it. And the money has to be spent before end of 2024. So I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if all these projects start lining up and we get additional grant funding, that would look kind of crazy if we didn't end up spending all the money by the end of sitting there with 3 million and we're like, oh, we didn't spend it all. So that's what I'm here for. That's all I have.
Very good, very good. Okay, very nice.
Thanks for putting that together.
Mm-hmm.
Any other citizens comment?
Why are you
You
looking
have
at me?
anything you'd like to say, ma'am? You didn't sign up.
She's no citizen.
Mayor and council correspondence, don't forget this Saturday, the JFK 50 mile starts Saturday morning. So bright and early,
6:30.
6:30 when they start. They'll start lining up.
Come get your free clothing if you're very
They're
thick.
supposed to have somebody following them this year and picking the clothing up, but that remains to be seen.
I've never seen anybody lose their clothing at the start. Later through the race. I
No,
thought-
we'll have like sweatpants and we find stuff on the porch.
Oh, yeah, they leave the pile down here.
They tie it up to the handrails and everything.
So is it kind of up for grabs? Can I come by and then
Yeah.
have a yard sale?
Well, sometimes someone comes and picks it up, it's theirs, and the Grace crew does, they just kind of get stuff.
Way to kill my buzz.
First come, first served.
But you can come help watch potty patrols to make sure that they use the outhouses.
Well, I was thinking
and
of be
not
out here.
people's yards.
What time are you gonna do the speech? Because the EDC wants me to come here too.
I don't know. I'll be here, I'll be here at 6 o'clock.
Well, they'll be happy.
They don't, no, they don't start racing until 6:30. I look like you can be here at 6 o'clock.
No, they didn't.
Did my speech. And they, people put all in, it's the race, it's my proclamation that was presented.
So what do you expect it to do then that morning?
I have no idea. Be here at 6 o'clock, he told me. I don't know whether they'll trust me with the pistol or not.
That's funny stuff right there.
Let me get my glasses on.
Please, anybody else have any correspondence?
Well, speaking of that, you get November 17th, I was gonna do it as for EDC, but November 17th is Girls' Night Out for all you ladies. And I'll just go kind of swoop in, guy.
Now, where he's going with this.
What they got, guys?
Yeah. Nah, you don't get out of the suit.
5 to 9, Girls' Night Out in town, so make sure you come out and go visit all the establishments.
When is that? This weekend?
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
It's on the,
I think that's
on the
something
calendar, isn't
pretty
it?
crazy plan. They're gonna have like red carpets out.
You know what, Paul? EDC, EDC had a 3-hour meeting. Wow. In the year last one. I'll go over the highlights here.
Okay.
Also, since we won't be meeting, having a workshop because of the MML legislative night in Clear Spring, don't forget December the 2nd is Old Time Christmas and lighting of the Christmas tree. Starts at 6 o'clock up behind the Lutheran Church as usual. Yeah. And if something happens that I don't get back from Baltimore in time, I'll let you know. That you can light the tree, but I should be back, our MML will be, should be over by 3 o'clock, so give me 3 hours to get from downtown Baltimore back to here, so that should be all right.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. But you never know about accidents. Might be a red block. Good. Anything else? Correspondence? Chief?
Alrighty, for the month of October, we had 84 calls for service, 87 traffic stops, 2 criminal arrests. The notable calls for the month was we had a juvenile with malicious destruction of property. The parents were contacted and all the parents agreed to solve the issues. It was a couple juveniles doing some things he wasn't supposed to, the other one got involved. But anyway, it was taken care of. We had 2 arrests on Orchard Manor Drive. Who assaulted each other. We had a hit and run that Emily handled out at AT&T. She located the driver a couple of days later, put him some tickets and did a research on him. And she also made a traffic stop up on Maple Avenue where we ended up towing the car, writing a bunch of tickets on that one. And then because we've been requested to do special patrols or special checks, we've done Maple Avenue, King Road, Central Street to one way up here at St. Paul. We put in 3 hours of surveillance in those areas. We had 4 traffic violations on those. I've attempted to put the speed trailer up on Center Avenue there in front of Ivan Gross. And there's either issues with the battery, and we've sent them back to the factory to get new ones, or there's issues with the equipment itself. It runs for a day and just quit working. So Mr. Ball's got the batteries. He starts replacing with new ones. If that doesn't correct the problem, I have to contact the radar company and come down with that trailer, but it's not helping us anything like that. So I don't have any information for that. As far as activities go, last month I attended the mayor and council meeting and workshop. Excuse me. I did a field training 3 days so I can be a field training officer with this new guy coming out to give Wes a break. And then Wes and Ted assisted with trick or treating. Whoever planted the trees down here at the park for this last time they planted the trees, they didn't call before they dug and they cut the wires from the camera from one to the other. What the company say, it's $1,000.
It's gonna be about $1,000 for, they temporarily fixed it, so we have service right now, but it's a temporary fix, it's not gonna last.
Yeah,
So to fix it, it's like
They dug the
$1,000.
2 new trees, they cut the wire.
They had to know they did that.
They did. Greg showed up. They called Greg, right?
They knew they cut the one wire, but apparently there was 2 wires and they didn't know they cut the second wire.
So we need to get that repaired, and that's gonna be around $1,000. I don't know if Greg can do something like that. I can't think it's that difficult to run a wire from one camera to another. If we got the splicing to put the ends on the camera. I mean, we can call the company and ask them if it's a special splice that we need for that, or we can just let them do it. And I don't know if the town has insurance for something like that, or a wire is cut, or they don't.
Probably not.
So, and it's $1,000 is what they're saying.
Well, who was planning?
The guys that cut the wires?
It wasn't that you
It
ever.
was whomever was in the park planting, like helping out planting the trees. It was a group of individuals and,
Those are about scaffold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're right there next to the basement.
I'm sure Greg can replace that wire and put it in some conduit too. We should probably-
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't do that. That's the way, just a piece of plastic conduit would have saved that with a
Yeah.
shovel. It's not like they did it back.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that was done when Charlie was here, and I don't know what kind of agreement he had with that company as far as the wiring, the hard wiring. I mean, it's a whole lot easier just to take and do a little trench and lay the wire in it, take a little more time than lay a piece of conduit. But if they would have done the conduit, it would certainly save in this instance. So, I mean, that should be something we should consider. And then, like I said, if Greg can't do it, then that's what that company said it's going to cost.
$1,000, I'm sure.
And again, I'm sure they're just going to cut the grass, lay the wire in,
And we came out and did a temporary repair.
they did, yeah. Well, when we did, the cameras wasn't working,
Right.
so we called them for repair, and they come down and said, well, this is the problem. And she contacted, you talked to Greg then.
yeah, well, I knew that the camera wasn't working. I reviewed footage. I figured out what had happened. I contacted Greg. Greg fixed what he thought it was, because he knew what had happened.
Right.
And he had actually called me, and I'm like, well, no, that camera seems to be working. They hit the other one somewhere at some point, and Greg couldn't find that one either. So Greg fixed the initial one, still wasn't working, so I had to call the company. They came out and found where the other
Yeah.
piece had been hit. I told him, I reached out and contacted the company about that. And I think on that bill, they say about putting conduit in there, don't they, chief?
I was gonna say, well, we
Yeah,
do.
I think they added that.
Yeah, that's,
David.
part of that fee, that $1,000 is gonna be, I think, they're gonna add conduit. But I told them with that price, I'd have to get approval from mayor and council before we did anything. And, Kevin and I talked about maybe seeing if Greg and the guys could do it.
I
cheap.
mean, it would save us $1,000, if they can do it.
Or maybe we could order and I'm sure it's like an audio visual cable.
That's
special
what I
cable.
was thinking would be, yeah.
Maybe we could order the cable and then maybe Greg and his team could install it.
That's what I'm, Greg should know he acted like he could do it.
Okay.
Even if you just take the cable.
It's conduit.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
conduit, and somebody
yeah.
can come
And they can just come pull the cable, yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Just, I mean, we need to fix it.
Yeah.
But we also need to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, but some people can't be down there digging
Right,
and
but the
not know
conduit's
where.
gonna fix that.
Well, the conduit would about, and if we called this utility, that's not something that would.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems to me the camera people should have let us know where they put these
Well,
lines.
they should have put the line.
They should have been, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think.
that's the whole problem. It should have been in conduit from the get-go.
I will make a motion, if that's what you were asking, that we allow the public works to do as much of the work as they can. And if we have to have the company come out and pull the cable, then we'll do that. But if we can do it in-house,
Yeah, I agree.
I recommend we let the public works do it. So, yeah, I'll make that motion.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion
Make sure that that's on.
And on the same line with the cameras, talking out here at the crosswalk where they're going to put the sign, I guess, the signage for the pedestrian crosswalk, they've got to move a camera, right?
Yes, and that particular camera we use a lot.
It's the one that has the tag that we can read the tag.
Yeah, that is a very important camera to
We're
the
gonna
system.
have, we're gonna have to pay them to move that camera once the state decides where they're gonna put the signs.
And the camera company is supposed to contact the state and come down and survey the area so that they can come up with a ballpark price. I don't know if that'd be rolled into the cost for the state moving all this stuff or not. I don't know how that's gonna work.
That's the
But
one
we
that
haven't got a
Richard
price
Reed-
on that yet because
Yes,
they're
Richard Reed.
two, the state and the camera companies get together to see what,
Because they have to decide where they're gonna put it.
yes, where they're gonna put that signage, yes.
But will the camera set on top of one of their signs?
That is a possibility, but again, they don't know what the camera needs to run. So the two companies need to talk, and I've started that process.
Well, you say as of last week, they hadn't talked yet, but
Yeah,
we put them in contact with each other, so they can decide.
They still talking about late spring?
They didn't give us.
they didn't give me a date or time or anything.
Sounds like they're getting ready to start doing it sooner, maybe.
It's kind of what it sounded like to me, because I'm actually getting correspondence from them asking about the camera.
Good.
So it sounds like it's gonna be sooner than we thought.
Good, that's good. About time.
I just-
After 3 or 4 years, Terry?
It's longer than 4.
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah, Terry started.
Well, we met up there, wasn't the state highway. It's been at least 4 years.
Been going on for as long as I've been here, and that's been 4 years.
And finally, is there a time limit on the electric car charging station up there? How long somebody can leave a car set there?
Does somebody?
They're paying for it.
They're paying for it, aren't they? Are they plugged in?
I don't know. Someone called dispatch and wanted to know why cars been sitting there for 2.5 hours. They couldn't get in and get their car charged.
Oh, yeah, sometimes, yeah, sometimes you have to let
They
it
don't have to charge.
plug for a long time.
I don't charge like a gas.
Say 2.5 days.
But
you said.
again,
Two and
they
a half
called
hours.
dispatch and dispatch referred it to me. And
Yeah.
I called the guy and I said, I'm not aware of any time limit, but I will check. But I.
Aren't there two charging stations?
Yeah.
Apparently they could before.
Wow.
Just go by the street.
So there's no- as far as I know, there's no limit. Like you say, you're paying.
Yeah, it's funny because I've seen like local people plugged in there.
Well, it's cheaper, I guess, than buying one of those charging things for your
Yeah.
house. So,
I mean, it's no more frustrating than when you go to Sheets and somebody pulls up at the pump.
because
And then goes inside and gets food.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, I mean, I get it,
I
but.
feel you.
Well,
guys.
they might have to do something to their house, so wire it so they can plug in at home.
Right. Right.
So I think that's all we have, right? I think
I
that.
can't think of anything else.
How was Tom doing?
Tom is doing well.
When's his graduation?
February.
Second.
Second, yeah.
It's the first Friday in February, I believe.
Do you know the time yet?
I haven't got an invitation yet.
Let me know, please.
Sure.
I haven't missed one yet.
Sure.
I even went with you clear up to
Carroll County.
Carroll County.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. How about Emily? Working out?
Yeah, something so far, so good.
I have heard nothing but good compliments from the resident people because they see her having people pulled over writing tickets.
Yeah. I mean, we've been busy. I mean, we stay busy, so.
She said one day she had somebody in a pickup truck that was kind of jacked up high. She don't know what they were telling, but she was telling him, but said she was putting her finger up at him.
She seems to be happy, so maybe this one will stay a little bit longer than the other.
Well, at least she knows what she wants to do with her life. You know, it's
Yeah.
more important, so that's it. So while I have Kevin, I'll bring up the Bodenheimer thing, Dave. So just because I said I would. So he did come by my house later and, you know, he's my doctor, he's my neighbor, and he's talking about it. Here's some of the confusion that they're seeing is that the sign out here says, do not enter local traffic.
I don't see the local traffic sign.
There's no sign that says local traffic.
It just says new. It says, do not enter, and it's got new underneath. If we can take the new off, I think I've heard of 2 years.
I think he just played you.
No, I thought. Okay, all right. So anyway, that's they're all, you know, local, they've been using it for 20 years. She, and also what's her face upstairs, Tracy, was already her office. So it doesn't really matter to me. one of the things, absentee asking why they couldn't move that sign down to Lincoln Center, it would be local traffic, do not enter except for town business and local traffic.
Well, then we'd have to make a sign this freaking big. We have to make a sign this big that says, you can come here if,
You got a resident?
No.
We got 2 residents there, we got town hall.
Okay.
But then you
If
guys
you
can
go
go out there.
one way for that little bit, why would you go one way for the whole street?
Exactly. That we encourage.
and also, as long as I have worked here, I have always,
Both ways to that park. But you do
Yeah.
it out that way. Yeah, or that way. And I told him, I said, use your driveway. He said, well, it's only one way.
yeah,
Okay, it's a private driveway. Use it one way that way when you want to. We can't force that.
I was gonna say, as long as I have worked here, because my house is on the far side of Lincoln, I've always come out of the parking lot, made a right hand, gone up around St. Paul and pulled in my parking place. Now I make the left, go up, do a U-turn and pull into my parking place. If I can do it, I think everyone else can do it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Where there used to be a real sign.
When it first went up,
I do around there a lot.
they were getting stopped, and I think his patients all realized he can, that, you know, it's the new deal, so, all right, done. I let them know.
Yeah, and part of the reason we had to do that was to keep them from cutting through here.
Well, it's also good for the
Full
school.
traffic. You know.
It's a safety concern.
Yes, I mean, you can't.
Starting
Get
out.
out there and
Pulling in here and he's pulling out, someone's gonna get hurt.
So can we look to make sure that there's not a sign up there that says for local traffic and have it removed?
He said.
I don't remember, but
Does the camera show you? Does it show you?
no, we don't have.
The only thing up there is 2 signs on both sides of that alley saying, do not enter. And underneath them, they got new underneath. We can take them.
You
new
can
off.
take
Take it.
Yeah, well, these are not-
Yeah, put it
Old new.
Still.
But the thing is, the man seen me sitting there. And he just, so if he see a cop sat there and sign says, you know, and you don't do it. He is. What he doing getting that last time.
He didn't see that black Charger sitting there, so he thought he'd get away with it. Brian's one's got him before.
Is that who got him for?
Multiple, anyway.
See, I said to him, he got a good bit. And I've never.
Thank you, Chief.
But that's all for us.
All right.
Good job. Thank you, sir. New business, 2022 Municipal Government Works Proclamation for Town of Boonesborough. The mayor and council of the Town of Boonesborough proclaimed November to be Municipal Government Works Months, whereas the town has incorporated in 1831, and whereas Maryland is home of 156 other municipalities, and whereas municipal government represents the most responsive level of government, allowing citizens to have direct access to elected officials, and whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the town of Boonesborough is proud to promote municipal government awareness, and whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their respective residents, maintaining natural historic sites and structures, and helping to make Maryland a great place to live, work, play, and explore. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and council of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland hereby joins the Maryland Municipal League in declaring November to be Municipal Government Works Month in Boonesborough. And witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the official seal of the town of Boonesborough, Maryland, this 14th day of November 2022. To have a motion to accept.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those the same, abstain, motion carries. Thank you all. That's one of our requirements to continue to be a donor city.
Good job. Bye.
Good night. Good night. Make sure you turn left when you leave the park.
Yeah, make a right.
You guys are gonna stay for the rest of it?
I'm working.
The good stuff's coming.
Good stuff.
2022 county chemical bid results.
They don't want to stay for that, for this. I mean, come on. So we did, this is the third year in a row we have put our procurement out with the county. And as you can see, the cost of chemicals has gone way up. 50 to 80% increases. We did account for that in the budget, but only about 20% increase in total cost. So, we might need to pull some emergency funding from our contingency budgets. So, but, I think it's just going to be, I'll talk to, actually, I could talk to you, Kim, about watching our chemical budget and letting us know when we got to move some money and that sort of thing. The good thing about the diatomaceous earth, last year, we didn't get a bid also, and we were running very low. We found somebody who had a lot to sell, and we bought it all, so we have enough for this year too. So we don't. So, but yeah, everything has gone way there. Yeah.
We've already approved this.
Yeah, I don't think it really needs any approval.
Yeah, we approved the piggyback county a couple months ago, I think, yeah. Okay. Great.
It's just a part of our procurement now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 3 years. That's the third year we've done this.
Recommendation Sycamore Run Phase 1-3 bond reductions and 1-year maintenance agreement.
So they are done all of the improvements that were included in their public works agreements for phases 1, 2, and 3. Our engineer did a final review. Greg did a final review. I did a final review. Actually, we just all did one big walkthrough together with Riley, and everything is good. So the next phase is to reduce, send a reduction letter to their bonding agency, and then sign a new agreement. This is the draft agreement we had in mind. You probably don't remember because the public works agreements were all signed in 2014, 15, and 16. But once all the improvements are complete, the bond is reduced down to 5%, and we enter a 1-year maintenance period. So they're still liable for any kind of corrections that need to be made, but only over a 1-year period. And no matter what, at the end of that 1-year period, if they don't have any outstanding work orders from us, the bond will officially expire. So I think what we're talking about tonight, and I apologize, I'm filling in for Riley, but we need a recommendation to reduce, or actually just a vote to reduce Sycamore Run phases 1, 2, and 3, reduce their bond to 5% and enter a 1-year maintenance.
And planning already discussed this?
Yes, they did, sorry. Yes.
Okay, formally this evening, yes.
Okay, I was here when we had Dave on the phone, and he said absolutely.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we enter the 1-year maintenance agreement with Sycamore Run.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. NPDES MS4 permit annual report.
So the report was due at the end of last month. I submitted it the very last day. It's a long report, it's like hundreds of pages long. We had another good year. We got another 5 acres of credit that came from our fall tree planting, from the reforestation project at the wastewater treatment plant, and another reforestation project over by the educational complex. The big thing that comes out of all this, and we've talked about it before, is the EPA approved a grant through MDE for that wastewater treatment plant stream restoration project. And that's going to be like a $500,000 project. We're just waiting for an MOU from MDE and a grant agreement. And then that project should be happening. And will put us well beyond the 30 acres of credit we needed before the end of 2025. So as it is right now, we have like 18 acres of credit. So we're about 62% there, which is good. We still have 3 years to go. One of the big things is that if we do get this fund for the big wastewater treatment plant project, then we will have spent a grand total of like I think it's $50,000 or $60,000 for the first phase of our MS4 permit. And if you guys remember, back when we first were saddled with this thing, we thought it was going to cost about $1 million. So
We've done that without any cost to the residents.
yeah, I really think that's something to be proud of.
Because there are places that are charging.
Yeah, go talk to Middletown. They're having a heck of a time.
I think just over the line in Greencastle, in Hagerstown.
Hagerstown pays a rain tax.
I'm not sure about Smithsburg, but yeah, so I think we should be happy with what we've accomplished.
Absolutely. Any questions of Paul? And moving on to fiscal year 2024 state capital budget request.
I more just wanted to share this with you guys. Senator Porterman asked for a meeting with Howard, myself, and the lobbyist. When was that, about a month ago? And we sat down with our critical projects booklet, and we talked about kind of what the landscapes look like and what we should be asking for and what our strategy should be. And this is what we came up with Senator Portman. And this is why I love working with Portman. He's very responsive. He's very hardworking, and he shows up for us time and time again. And this is just another example of how. So if we can even get half of that, I would be Merry Christmas. So and I think that will really keep us moving in a productive direction too. So just wanted to share that. That's it.
Safe routes to school grants award and map.
All right, so earlier this year, this is a project we're working on with Terry and Greg and Riley, and the grant writer is the one that drafted and submitted the application, but we have been awarded $1.2 million to retrofit the sidewalks in the older part of town. Particularly, I attached the map for you guys, particularly at Orchard, Ford, and Center. This goes all the way back to like 3 years ago when people were complaining about the new bus route, children walking next to school buses and parent vehicles being dismissed from the school, and just making this area of this being a busier area of town, making it a little bit more pedestrian friendly, particularly for the people that are walking to Shaker Park or, the various public events we have here in town. I think these are some much needed improvements, and it really works well in concert with our intersection project. And I think the next big public safety project we can focus on is getting some sidewalk along Maple, because that stretch badly needs some sidewalk too.
What's nice about this, on Orchard and Ford, it's going to be on both sides. And one side. That's great.
Yeah, I see kids every day walking on the street. Cool, what's that?
Good job.
You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice. Especially with the townhouses and the apartments and all up there.
The traffic really does fly down.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Something long overdue. Award plaques for elected officials, outstanding citizens, HBT Incorporated proposal.
Well, I think we were just, I think we need to start ordering some of these plaques and handing them out. I think sooner or later, the lobbyist is going to be calling us to schedule a time for me and the mayor to head up to Annapolis, and we should have a few plaques under our arms when we go. I definitely think Senator Porterman needs a plaque. I don't know, we've gotten a lot of help. We've gotten a lot of hard work from our elected officials, from some of the local businesses. We are starting to network quite a bit with all these different government agencies and private companies and things like that. We really need a way to reciprocate. We need a way to show appreciation. So the way Stu has it set up is, Stu did the design, and we can just order some blanks and then have them outfitted with names later. And but if you guys, I really think this kind of thing should come from you guys. I can give recommendations and things, but you guys know who helps us the most and who deserves recognition. And it'd be nice to start having them at public meetings and handing some out and showing people just how much we appreciate what they do and what kind of opportunities they're bringing our way.
Do we need a motion to do it? I'd be happy to make a motion to go ahead and order these plaques and have names put on them as you see fit. When we're gonna need them.
Okay.
I mean, I'll second the motion. We talked about it at the other meeting and we found the money. So it's not like we're trying to figure that out tonight. This was probably just like the formal part of it. But yeah, any of the ones that we've decided, like Corderman, the county commissioners, there's some other ones that we talked about. I order them with their name on it. I wouldn't move them blank later. But then if you like
we
the,
came up with a pretty good list.
We have a
We
nice
knocked
list.
it down.
Yes.
so, but yeah, I'd second that and I'd like to move on with it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. Anything else come before the council tonight under new business? Hearing none, we'll do commission report. Park board, Ricky.
Okay, they had their meeting October 26th, at 7 o'clock. They discussed drop-off day, and then everything went well on that. They talked about the tree giveaway and the milkweed plant giveaway. And they thought everything went well on that as well. They talked tree board update. They didn't have a tree board meeting, so let them update on that. Cruise for Kids update, lots of cars and people and lots of kids in camp. That's how that was about.
Yeah, nice crowd.
Yeah. So about, talking about volunteer hours for Morgan Shopman. That's the Old Town, I guess the Old Town Christmas. Winterizing Park, that was done November 1st. And you talked about taking the signs up on the Warren Trail. And that's been going on for a while, so they're going to do that again. For the old time Christmas, Floresville band's gonna be there, the high school band's gonna be there. Boy Scouts are gonna do luminaries, it's, the same guys gonna do the same stuff. Fish, said that the town paid for the fish, going to Rich, and the fish are doing well. Tony come in, having a pickleball courts down at the park. So. Other than that, that's it. That's it on that one.
You got any clothes lined up?
Yeah.
So our company too. This our company lined up too.
Everything's set up.
Good.
So in regards to the pickleball court, the park board is on board with that. And they want to move forward with it. They're going to decide where they want to put the courts. And I talked to Paul about that afterwards, and we're probably thinking that the open space, the project open space would be a good place to start putting money from there. But we also asked our grant writer to be looking for any other monies that she could apply for to supplement that as well. So, but they was excited about it.
Yeah, because that, one of the places that they were talking about putting it was down there where the horseshoe pits are.
Correct.
Nobody uses it.
Nobody
uses it anymore.
So they go on and put a couple pits in, pickleball courts in there.
So what is it? As soon as you put them in there.
Yeah. I had asked the park board to give their input on when they would like the fireworks for the 4th of July. And they didn't make a decision. They said that's up to the mayor and
They
council.
said that's up to
Well, yeah, they talked about it.
Yeah.
They want to know when we decide that it's going to happen so they can start planning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, my thought is, okay, so the 4th of July is a Tuesday. So if we have it Friday night, that's June 30th. That just seems like weird, doesn't it? Having 4th of July on June 30th. Yeah.
Oh, we always have them like on the.
Well, we always had them on the Friday before the Friday before.
But if that's going to be the 30th, I don't think I like that.
Doesn't it seem weird?
It's my anniversary, so it's exciting to have fireworks for my anniversary, but other than that,
Unless you want to do it for Friday.
Then that's like the 7th.
Whoa.
Easy.
Don't you want to do them July the 7th?
We already quartered you July.
You gotta be,
At least it's in July.
We priced it, there's a difference on what date we pick.
as long as we don't put,
Significantly different, that might
as long as we
influence
don't do it on the 4th.
the date.
That's when the prices go up. Doing it on Saturday, you're probably gonna compete with the Maryland Symphony up at the community college with their fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be an Antietam, but now they have them up at the Hagerstown Community College. So you'd be competing with them, which doesn't really matter.
I'll noodle it through.
I think we need a bigger show too. Yeah, seriously.
They want to raise
We
them.
got a bunch of money.
Saturday would be fine, that way I don't have to come back to Motion City for on Friday.
Yeah.
That's the last. But Wednesday will be the last day of the MML conference.
Yeah, because it's that last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, Rick was saying about the Boothborough High School band. I don't know where you all heard or read it in the newspaper. They finished first place in their division. And state champion, along with a lot of other awards too for the band, percussion and some of the other features of the band won too. So quite an accomplishment for the high school. Good. Thank you, Rick. Utilities, right?
We didn't meet.
Didn't we?
No, I'm just kidding.
We last met on October the 19th, also with some updates, the wastewater treatment plant. The county building permits have been approved, and we've also started the application process with them with advanced metering infrastructure. There was no update. Ultimate 40 water line moving is under contract with WRA to complete the preliminary engineer report, and we're going to pair that with our ARC application and the state and federal funding request. Our kickoff meeting was to be held on October the 7th. We'll probably do an update on that this week. MDE, the drinking water state revolving fund, or the DWSRF. We are lobbying MDE along with the ARC to adopt the ARC's eligibility criteria, because currently where we are in that, we don't qualify for any of that money. So we're trying to fix that. Schaefer Park well replacement. They have a short staffing problem at the Washington County Health Department. It's holding up the process, and we're continuing to monitor that. Keedysville Booster Station, Crestview pressure reduction. Pressure loggers were installed, and we need a full month of data, so we'll have more information to follow. The reservoir replacement project is part of the 2022 Water Resource Development Act, along with the $5 million that we applied for through Trum's office. We're still waiting. It's in committee, and we are looking for an update from Dan Holland's office soon. MDE MS4 annual report. The report was just filed. Stormwater GIS modeling and tree inventory. They had a meeting held with the VEC and the park board to discuss the project planning and specifics. New business, the Crestview water treatment plant demo. Town met with the HOA there at Crestview to confirm the plans. All is in agreement. Phillips Well Drilling has offered to donate their work for this project. I think we talked about that once before. The time frame is December, and we're looking into permits this week, which was the week of the meeting. BMUC charter amendment for the members. Colin was to present something to the mayor and council. What happened to that?
Okay, presented it.
Oh, at the workshop, that's right. Okay.
I came, presented it.
Chair tall.
I know. The commercial customer audit, we have information of that that's being reviewed, and recommendations that all should be sent to the engineer. Leak detection RFP was recommended to be put out to bid, and proposal to discontinue fluoride treatment. We've got equipment issues. Some of those lines are over 22 years old. If we were going to continue that, they need to be replaced. They also found residue on the wall at the Keysville production plant. We are currently not adding the fluoride, and we need to send a letter of intent to MDE and the health department just to wipe that out. Systems report, the water sewer department still in, the sewer department is still in the process of replacing the diffuser tubes, and the public works, we're in the process of deploying the pressure loggers. And they were in servicing hydrants. They did find a damaged hydrant out on 34 near Crystal Grottos. That will need to be replaced. The fire department was notified. Under the town manager report, Paul met with Greg Pete to discuss improvements to security and surveillance of the infrastructure. And we next meet again on November the 16th at 6 p.m.
So anybody have any questions at time?
So we're currently not fluoridating the water.
Correct.
Okay, do we need to know, citizens need to know that?
Once we get the letter of intent to MDE and the health department, then we're gonna just put it out. It's no longer being.
Give fluoride treatment to the kids or whatever.
As
not a requirement.
Yeah, well, it's, it's not a requirement, but we didn't choose to stop feeding for the equipment.
But it's happening. It's gonna be a long time, you know, so they can. For the oral health.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Planning commission.
Yes, sir.
So we have not met since September, and that meeting actually was just an update of some ongoing projects for our two newer members. The only thing that really has been going on since that meeting is this bond reduction for Sycamore Run, which we already talked about this evening. We are scheduled to meet next Tuesday evening, but I talked to the chairman of that commission this evening, and he really didn't have any agenda items for next Tuesday. Wanted me to check with Paul on that, since Riley's out, but we'll probably cancel that meeting unless something comes up between now and then. So that's about the status there.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes,
What about the baby?
haven't heard.
So her name is, I've got all your details. Her name is Morgan Drew. She was born on her due date on October 27th. She's 7 pounds, 14 ounces, and she's 20 inches long.
Mama and baby are doing well.
They are doing very well. And she's quite a cutie.
I just wondering why you were asking me about the baby.
Part of your report.
Oh,
Well, tell her congratulations.
Little chubby cheeks.
We can't see.
Well, just pretend she's just a little squish.
Well, that's good.
Thank you, Eric. Public safety, Mary Lee?
I'll have to defer to Ricky because Ricky Weaver attended the chair meeting. So I had a meeting conflict.
Ricky says, "Hey,
Sorry.
Public safety meeting was started out up at the 28 High Street. Mr. and Mrs. Roberts was talking about vehicles running up on their lawn, and could there be a solution? So after loud yada, 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 we decided we were going to do a traffic study, and of course, we know what happened in that, so we're pretty much done with that till we get the traffic study done. Two of the things they discussed really didn't have anything to do with safety, but they wanted to know when the Halloween stuff was coming down at 346 Landfield Circle.
Oh, gravy. Really?
Yeah, and this was right before. And there's still containers out in landfill. They want 301 landfill. They want to know if what's going on with them. That's what I don't know. Parking, they're having a parking issue. The firehouse out in St. Paul Street, the fire department wanted to know if there could be anything done to alleviate that problem. I said, maybe you should talk to the police about that.
Or maybe even just talk to the residents.
Yeah, and there's Box Truck that parks right on St. Paul and High Street. They asked me if they could do something about that because coming out, they can't see, they have the nose out. I told them to get a hold of Greg and have him put a sign there. The certain size vehicles. I mean, we can buy the signs, right? Yeah. They discussed about the parking issue at the school where the kids are being picked up at elementary and what can be done about that. And the fire company is going to be walking around checking the local businesses about the lock boxes at the businesses. There's supposed to be keys in these lock boxes so they can get in without breaking the doors and breaking the windows out.
I mean, so the fire company can?
Yes.
Yeah. It's typically referred to as a Knox box.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Fire and rescue typically have access to them.
We're supposed, the town is actually supposed to have one somewhere. So, they're supposed to talk.
Knox box,
No.
like Fort Knox.
It's supposed to be a black box, right?
And
Never seen
the business owner, homeowner, I mean, you can even get a residential. So. if
Is
there's-
it the box that they put on like if you're selling your house?
No.
No.
So it's actually going to have typically mounted on the side of the building.
Mhm.
And the fire department or police departments, they have a key. You cannot get the key duplicated. They're really impossible, pretty much impossible to pick. Like Medeco is the company that has the lock in it. If you can pick their lock, we'll pay you $1 million. Nobody's ever been able to pick it. It's secure. And so instead, like if there was a smoke detector went off in here after hours, instead of the fire department forcing the door, damaging the door, they open up that Knox box, unlock the door, go in, say, oh, it's just a nuisance alarm. Call your insurance, call the company, then they can lock up, secure your Knox box, and go on about the day. Yeah, if it's not there and they gotta get in here, well, they're gonna bust one of these doors.
Yeah, whose responsibility is it for this?
Normally, there's a coordination between fire and rescue departments, police department, and businesses.
Right.
Even residential can put it on there if you want.
The ultimate responsibility is on the business, to do it. It's
But,
not-
I mean, I never even knew about this, so maybe they don't know.
Me
about
neither.
it. Maybe we need to put
Mom
something in
gets
the.
my house, I always call and going, try this door, don't bust my front
Maybe.
door.
Please.
We always leave this window, kitchen open.
Maybe you don't be sent out to the businesses and let them
Well,
know that.
the fire company is going to go to the next EDC meeting and talk to them about it, maybe go around door to door and talk to them.
Any grant money, Paul, we should ask the grant writer?
I did that.
I mean, I don't know.
This is the first I've
I've never, yeah. I mean,
It's, according to the fire guy, he said it's right out here in the front somewhere.
Hours?
hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, as long as they know where it is.
That can't be them. Because we've had the locks.
Somebody walk up there, see if there's a.
What I mean.
What they are, you probably noticed them. That's what they look like on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them.
They try to keep it nondescript, that way somebody's not like, oh, all the residential keys are in there.
We'll see.
You know,
And everybody has their.
it would be in the front, most likely, around.
So like,
Yeah.
one key opens
Okay,
all
that's our
nine.
Yeah. So, yeah, they want, because of all the turnover with the people in town, they thought
Well,
maybe
yeah, but I mean, they
change
can have
another
general
law,
access.
maybe that
Yeah.
they should change
They can have general.
the keys to the house as well. So I think it's a good idea, and that they're gonna go along with that, that's the way they're gonna do things. So, and that's about it.
Interesting.
Well, we can just coordinate the opening of the Knox box and putting the correct keys in there, I guess that'd be easy enough.
They just get the fire company.
Yeah, because they have access. We can, I mean, who knows what, if the keys haven't been replaced for 20 years,
Yeah.
they're not gonna work, right? I mean, we changed the locks, right? So. we've gotta make sure-
That's really interesting.
Thank you, sir.
I wouldn't even know how to get into it.
Right?
Okay, EDC had their last meeting, several topics were discussed. All the.
I don't see one.
No,
I don't see one.
I've never seen one before.
Yeah, I'm not.
Probably just use kicks around everywhere.
And then somebody called the police department, and he's out.
Richmond County had discontinued their contract program back in the 90s. Because local residents found out about it and were burglarizing the firehouse. And we took a call trying to find the keys.
Stop it.
No, I believe that.
I know you believe it, your phone good.
Yeah, as you go out on the right.
Oh, that little box.
Oh,
I never knew what that little box was.
That's the point. The majority of the public doesn't know what it is.
So we need to get them to open it before the whole keys are.
Correct.
Yeah, because they should be, because that keys definitely gonna change.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
I know.
Do you put like,
$1
do you,
million if you can pick that one.
interesting.
So if you got some spare time.
That was actually a commercial.
Right.
Sorry, Ryan.
Well, I know it's not as exciting as Knox boxes, but
Nothing is.
with my networking breakfast series, which is going to start again in January. We did have a social media workshop on the 10th. If any of you attended, it was advertised, I don't know if you saw it. That was hosted to allow residents to better utilize their social media for advertising and promoting the businesses themselves. So.
Yeah, good
nice
turnout.
idea. What's that?
They have a good turnout.
I don't know. I did not turn out.
It was hosted, by the way, by,
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mentioned that too. Thank you, Paul. So we had a ribbon cutting. Howard and I attended a ribbon cutting at Spring Ridge Chiropractic. It's right up there by the, behind the American Legion. So we got a new chiropractor in town, in case your back hurts. We have some new, according to the rat cards, our visitor cards are being distributed. Obviously with JFK, we know we're doing the JFK. You and I are already direct on that. There's, began to discuss the FY 2023 marketing plan for the EDC and for the town. I have in my hands here the proposed articles of bylaws and articles of incorporation for the Boonesborough Town Alliance. They do have a logo now and letterhead, so that's the first step. It's got a little Washington Monument with a little mark over it. Very nice, to the point. So the highlights of it, I'm not gonna go into too much. Basically, membership, you gotta be a business resident, the corporate limits of Boonesborough. We're to create commercial opportunities, increase businesses in town, increase employment opportunities in town and Washington County, and promote collaboration between them, other groups, other organizations in the town. They are looking at having between 5 and 9 members. There's the whole board, the chair, treasurer, liaisons, all that. They're gonna serve a 2-year term and they're gonna meet quarterly. So far, this looked good, and I think they're taking that to the next step. What else? Next meeting is January 4th. Said we have Girls Night Out coming up this Thursday. Don't forget that. Just so you know, we have Small Business Saturday on the 26th. That'll be in town. Of course, everything else we talked about with the park board. I think that's about it for the highlights. All right. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Anybody have any questions?
All by being, remember about a Knox box thing that doesn't, I'll load up, I'll be okay by tomorrow.
Anybody have any questions, Ray? Thank you, sir. Environmental Commission, Terry?
I was unable to attend my conference.
Town managers report, Paul.
I don't have anything. Oh, we were talking about the BMUC meeting. There's one scheduled for this Wednesday, but speaking with Stu and that being, we're just going to be mostly discussing updates and just a minor change to the charter amendment, which will then be represented to the mayor and council. In December, we decided just that we should cancel. We're close to the holidays. I think everybody needs to put it.
You get $10, man.
Oh my.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's the kids' Christmas present, Paul.
If you show up, maybe, I think we still have to pay.
Yep.
Show them the way to the security camera and.
I'm gonna get Knox box.
Check the Knox
You
box.
check the Knox box.
Yeah, brought me a Knox box. Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, but Knox box on the chimney shoes, then I can get that chimney.
Anybody else have anything for the council? Hearing none, I need a motion to go into executive session as provided under general provisions, article 3-305D1, subsection I, to discuss the appointment, appointments, assessments, promotion, dispromotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. So moved. Do I have a
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. We will be going into executive. I'll give you a 5-minute break.
Was it, we have to